In every generation, believers stand beside graves, whispering words they think are comforting, hoping their love somehow reaches beyond the veil, never realizing that some words spoken in kindness may echo in the wrong direction. People often say things that feel gentle in the moment, but weigh heavily in the realm of souls, because heaven hears differently than earth. Saint Faustina learned this not through thunder or visions of flame, but through something far quieter. An encounter so subtle it could have been missed, yet so powerful it changed her understanding of prayer forever. One night, as she rested in silence, she sensed a presence before she saw it. There was no sound, no trembling of the walls, only a stillness so heavy it pressed upon her heart. A pale soul stood at her bedside, silent, sorrowful, and longing with an intensity that words could not capture. In her diary, she later wrote, "A soul came to me. It stood by my bed without a word, looking at me with sorrow in its eyes." She understood instantly. This was a soul from purgatory. It wasn't there to frighten her. It wasn't looking for praise. It came for prayer. Because the living forget so quickly, but the dead continue needing love long after their bodies return to dust. That night reshaped Saint Faustina's spiritual life. She realized the dead do not need our assumptions, our dramatic declarations, or our sentimental phrases. They need mercy. They need intercession. They need the kind of love that lifts instead of burdens. From that moment, she treated every word spoken about the dead with holy caution. She understood that some words give light, and others, though spoken in love, cast shadows. Lend. The first dangerous phrase she revealed is something almost everyone has said. "I can't live without them. My life ended when they died." These words pour out from a wounded heart, a heart broken open by loss. Yet Saint Faustina warns that such grief can become something heavier than we ever intend. In her diary, she described hearing the words, "Do not block the light. Let them go. Your sorrow binds them." Grief is not sin, but grief that hardens, grief that becomes despair, rather than prayer, can hold a soul back from rising. Souls in purgatory long for God, long for purification, long for joy. But human despair can cling like invisible chains, not chains of guilt or punishment, but chains woven from sorrow. When we cling too tightly to a memory, when we whisper, "Stay with me," instead of "Go to him," we unknowingly keep the soul in a dim place, waiting for a permission we refuse to give. Saint Faustina wrote that her smallest sacrifices, offered silently, brought unexpected grace to suffering souls. She understood that real love says not stay, but rise. It is never weakness to feel pain. It is weakness to let pain speak louder than faith. Holy mourning is not collapsing under sorrow, but offering sorrow like a candle in the dark. And so, whenever the ache became sharp, she prayed, "Lord, I miss them, but I trust you more than my grief." The second mistake is another phrase spoken with tender hope yet dangerous assumptions. "If he's in heaven, he'll help me with this problem," or "if she's with God, she will make sure this goes right." We often imagine our loved ones as our personal saints, ready to solve our earthly troubles. But Saint Faustina wrote, "Let prayer be love, not currency." If a soul is still in purgatory, still longing for release, it cannot intercede as a glorified saint. And yet many on earth unknowingly treat the dead like spiritual vending machines. Insert a small prayer, Request a favor and expect a result. Instead, the soul may be silently pleading for help. We do not use the dead. We pray for them. We lift them. And if they are already in heaven, their love intercedes without needing to be asked. True trust does not demand signs. It offers goodwill. The third mistake is subtle but widespread, making grief into a performance. In today's world, mourning has moved into the public square. People post photos, write poetic captions, and display their sadness for the world to see. There's nothing wrong with sharing pain, but Saint Faustina warned that if sorrow becomes more about who sees it than who needs it, something sacred is lost. Souls do not need monuments written in pixels. They need masses, rosaries, whispered prayers. Heaven does not scroll. Heaven listens. 1,000 online tributes cannot replace a single moment of genuine intercession. Saint Faustina said, "Heaven hears the prayers that no one else sees, the candles lit in silence, the tears hidden in the chapel, the quiet offerings of sacrifice." Mems. The fourth mistake is perhaps the most painful, refusing to pray for someone who hurt us, a father who failed us, a cousin who betrayed us, a relative who caused wounds left unhealed. Many think he made his choices. I owe him nothing. But Saint Faustina wrote that Jesus told her, "The greater the sinner, the more right they have to my mercy." Death does not erase responsibility, yet it also does not erase the need for compassion. Some souls suffer silently, unable to apologize, unable to explain, but desperately in need of prayer. Forgiveness after death is not forgetting. It is refusing to let bitterness have the final word. Some souls may be waiting for the prayer of the one they wounded. Offering mercy does not weaken us. It frees us. And in eternity, the one who hurt us may meet us with tears and gratitude, transformed by a grace that came through our refusal to hate. Monde. The fifth mistake is believing it is too late to pray. Some think that if a person died decades ago, our prayers no longer matter. But Saint Faustina learned the astonishing truth: God exists outside of time. He can apply a prayer offered today to the moment of someone's death years ago. A soul who received no prayers, no mercy, no help at the hour of death may receive it through your prayer now. With God, nothing is wasted, nothing is late, nothing is beyond his reach. The soul, whose name you scarcely remember, may one day embrace you in eternity, saying, "Your prayer. That was the moment I was freed." Finally, the sixth and most dangerous mistake. He's already in heaven. She's resting in peace. These words sound holy, comforting, hopeful, but when said too quickly, they can become a spiritual silence that harms the soul. When people assume a person is already in heaven, they stop praying. And the soul, still longing, still purifying, receives no help. Saint Faustina encountered souls who suffered not because of their sins, but because no one prayed for them. Hope in God's mercy is good. Certainty without discernment is harmful. Love does not assume. Love perseveres. Okay. The human heart naturally searches for comfort when death enters a home, a family, or a memory. People cling to phrases that feel warm and uplifting, hoping these words will soothe the wound inside the living and grant peace to the departed. But Saint Faustina teaches a deeper truth. True comfort comes not from claiming the dead are already resting, but from actively helping them reach the fullness of God's light. Her life was a testament to the delicate relationship between the living and the dead, a relationship woven with responsibility, compassion. She wrote extensively about souls who approached her in silence, souls who appeared not with flames or terror, but with profound longing. These souls reminded her and remind us that death does not erase need. Souls still yearn for love, purification, and mercy. They still need the prayers we offer and suffer when those prayers fall silent. One night, Saint Faustina experienced a vision that defined this spiritual responsibility. A soul approached her without sound, without movement, only with sorrow-filled eyes, pleading for what only the living can offer. She realized that the dead do not seek grand statements or poetic eulogies. They seek love expressed through sacrifice, prayer, and trust. This is why she warned against the 6 phrases that seem harmless, but, when spoken without awareness, can hinder the journey of the departed. These phrases are not sins in themselves, but spiritual misunderstandings, mistakes made from heartfelt emotion rather than malice. Yet, they can shape the destiny of a soul longing for release. The first mistake, "I can't live without them," is born from love but rooted in despair. Grief is natural, but despair binds both the grieving heart and the soul in need of freedom. Saint Faustina wrote that sorrow, if clung to, becomes a shadow that dims grace. She learned that transformation comes from surrender, from trusting that separation is temporary, and from believing that God's plan is greater than human pain. Despair whispers, "Stay with me," but love whispers, "Go to Him." When we refuse to let grief consume us, we free the soul to rise into the light where God awaits. The second mistake, treating the dead as personal miracle workers, comes from a misunderstanding of how heaven operates. It is beautiful to think our loved ones watch over us, but assuming they are already glorified erases the possibility that they may still need our help. Saint Faustina taught that intercession flows from God's will, not ours. Souls in purgatory are not there to perform favors. They are there to be purified. They cannot grant blessings. They need to receive them. Our prayers should not be made in exchange for help, but out of love that seeks their joy. The third mistake, turning grief into a public performance, is a growing problem in the modern world. People measure mourning by the length of a caption or the number of reactions. Yet none of this reaches the eternal realm. The soul does not count memorial posts. Heaven does not tally digital tears. What matters is the quiet offering made in sincerity, a rosary said in the car. A mass offered in their name, a candle lit in silence. Saint Faustina knew that the smallest hidden prayer carries more weight than the loudest public lament. Souls are lifted, not by our displays, but by our devotion. The fourth mistake, refusing to pray for someone who hurt us, is perhaps the most challenging. Many people carry wounds inflicted by those who have passed on. Some wounds never received an apology. Some injustices feel too deep to forgive. And yet, Saint Faustina teaches that mercy extended to the undeserving mirrors God's own heart. Jesus told her the greater the sinner, the more right they have to his mercy. This does not mean excusing the hurt or forgetting the past. It means choosing not to let bitterness outlive the body of the person who caused it. A refusal to pray may delay their healing, while our willingness to forgive may open a door that has been closed for decades. In eternity, justice and mercy meet perfectly, and sometimes The prayer of the wounded becomes the salvation of the one who wounded them. Langed the fifth mistake, believing it is too late to help a soul, is grounded in human logic, not divine reality. Time binds us, but God is outside of time. A prayer offered today can be applied to the hour of someone's death years ago. This truth is among the most hopeful teachings Saint Faustina left us. It means that no soul is beyond the reach of mercy. It means that every Mass, every Rosary, every intention spoken over a forgotten grave matters. It means we can still lift souls who died neglected, alone, or without prayer. Imagine reaching heaven and discovering that one small prayer you said helped someone cross into eternal joy. That is the power God gives us. Right? The sixth mistake, assuming someone is already in heaven, is the most dangerous because it silences the very prayers that souls desperately need. When families say she's in a better place, they often stop interceding. Yet Saint Faustina wrote that souls in purgatory suffer especially when the living forget them. Not because God is harsh, but because purification is heavy work, and they rely on our help. Hope is good. Assumption is harmful. We should pray for our loved ones not because we doubt God's mercy, but because we participate in it. Meant the conclusion Saint Faustina offers is both gentle and urgent. Souls do not need eulogies. They need mercy. They need prayers whispered long after the funeral has ended. They need love that continues beyond the grave. Lighting a candle may seem small. Offering a Mass may seem ordinary. Saying a rosary may feel repetitive. But in heaven's eyes, these actions blaze like torches, guiding souls upward. Saint Faustina wrote that nothing helps the dead more than the Holy Mass. Nothing even comes close. So she urges us, pray for the forgotten, forgive the unworthy, offer small sacrifices even when unseen. Your prayer may become the final step a soul needs to reach eternal joy. Blend. If your heart feels stirred, whisper the name of someone who has passed. No explanation needed, just a name offered into eternity. And let your love become the bridge that carries them home. As the night deepened, a gentle stillness settled over the monastery, yet Saint Faustina remained awake, absorbed in silent prayer. The vision she had witnessed earlier continued to echo within her soul, its radiance lingering like the fading glow of a celestial flame. She felt as though heaven had opened a small window for her, revealing not only the mysteries of suffering and mercy, but also the extraordinary tenderness of God for every soul wandering in darkness. Kneeling before the crucifix, she whispered a prayer not for herself, but for all those who, burdened by grief or hidden sins, had forgotten the depth of God's compassion. Her heart ached with a divine longing, a desire to become an instrument through which even one lost soul might rediscover the light. Later, as dawn approached, Saint Faustina stepped outside into the cold morning air. The sky was still dark, yet a thin line of silver glowed faintly on the horizon. She sensed that heaven was speaking through the silence, inviting her to walk a path that was both beautiful and demanding. In that delicate moment, she remembered Christ's words to her. Tell the world of my mercy. She realized that her visions, her suffering, and her extraordinary encounters were not meant to elevate her, but to awaken humanity to a love far greater than anything the earth could offer. With renewed strength, she pressed her hand over her heart, where the warmth of divine grace still burned, and whispered, "Yes, Lord, I will go wherever you send me." In the end, Saint Faustina's journey reminds us that even the smallest soul can carry a light strong enough to break through the deepest night. Her visions were not meant only for her time, nor reserved for the chosen few. They were a gift for every person who has ever felt forgotten, wounded, or overwhelmed by life's hidden battles. Through her unwavering trust, she showed that God does not wait for perfection. He waits for willingness. And when a soul, no matter how fragile, whispers a simple yes, heaven can transform that soul into a vessel of unimaginable grace. Maimed. Her life teaches us that suffering is not the end of the road, but often the beginning of transformation. Every tear, every fear, every silent wound carried in the heart can become a doorway through which God enters with healing and mercy. Saint Faustina's story calls us to lift our eyes from the weight of the world, and remember that a greater love is always at work, guiding, strengthening, and redeeming us in ways we cannot yet see. May her witness inspire us to walk forward with courage, to trust even when the path is dark, and to believe that divine mercy is powerful enough to renew not only our own hearts, but the entire world. And as we take our next steps, may we carry within us the same prayer that sustained her. Jesus, I trust in you. I lift my heart to you in humble trust, knowing that your mercy is boundless and your love never fails. I offer my prayers for the souls who are still journeying through purification, those who are forgotten, overlooked, or in need of your tender grace. Lord, help me to intercede for them with the same courage, compassion, and devotion that Saint Faustina showed. And teach me to speak words of love and hope, not sorrow or despair. Let my grief become a channel of your mercy, my prayers a bridge to light, and my silent sacrifices a gift to those in need. Strengthen me to forgive even those who have caused pain, and to pray without ceasing for all souls, whether known or unknown. Lord Jesus, I trust in you. I entrust the departed into your hands, confident that you will bring them into the fullness of your love. May every prayer I offer, every candle I light, and every rosary I whisper, carry them closer to you. And may my life, like Saint Faustina's, be a reflection of your mercy, guiding souls toward your eternal light. Amen.